Hello everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to make a custom bloodline for CK2 in a mod, in a little mod what you want to make. I'm also going to teach you a very quick way to implement your bloodline into a dynasty. Say you're just doing something for roleplay purposes. Say I want to give you a character a few little bonuses to start off with here. We'll add a very simple event as well, a very simple decision that will add that bloodline to your character. Now, with Bloodlines, honestly, the hardest bit of it is actually finding a way to give your character the bloodline. Creating the bloodline is incredibly straightforward. Obviously, in-game, you gain bloodline through various long event chains, through achieving ambitions, whatever else. That's the difficult part. However, I'm going to, like I said, show you the very simple way to get around it. It doesn't matter if you've never done any CK2 modding before. It doesn't matter if you have done a shitload of CK2 modding before. I'm going to keep this as simple as possible. So what we've got here is our blank CK2 mod folder. A whole lot of nothing going on right now. I'm also rendering a video on in Premiere as well. Tomorrow's Nomad video. So this might be a little bit laggy. Things might go a little bit wrong here. Never tried this before. So this is our blank CK2 folder. For those who don't know how to find your CK2 mods folder, it is My Documents, Paradox Interactive, Crusader Kings 2 mod. If you're using Windows 10, I'm going to show you a very essential first step to make your life infinitely easier when making CK2 mods. If you aren't using Windows 10, I would recommend you find a way to do this for your current operating system. That is going to be showing file name extensions. So, for example, when we have a text document, it will say new text document.txt rather than just the name of the document. You can also see that file name extension there. This is going to help out massively when it comes to making our .mod file, which is going to be the first file we make for this. The .mod file tells the game, more specifically the game launcher, what mod to load, what files are contained within that mod. So that's going to be the first thing we make. Now, it's much easier if you can see that .mod. This is the first step, and honestly, this is one of the biggest steps everyone makes a lot of mistakes on. They end up making just a text document rather than an actual .mod file. It's very, very simple to do, right? We're going to make a new text document. If you've got file name extensions turned on, there's another way you can do this as well. I'll show you in a second. We're going to just highlight the whole thing, and we're going to call it whatever we want our mod to be called. So I'm going to call it, very simply, bloodline.mod. Then it will say, this is a good way to know that you've done something right. If you change a file name extension, the file may become unusable. Are you sure you want to change it? This is changing it into a .mod file. Another good way to see that, the file type is mod now, rather than .text. If you haven't got that, right-click here, open up type. That way you'll be able to see it, or obviously if you're in Windows 10 as well, press this button down here. That will show information rather than just little thumbnails there. Then you can right-click here, show file type, and then you can see that you've got bloodline mod, and it is a .mod file type. What we're going to do now is open this up and put the necessary information to set up our mod, to have the game know what our mod is doing. So this is Notepad++. I've already done a series of modding videos previously. It was quite a long time ago, so you might not have seen them. Links in description to the programs you might need, to sort of very basic CK2 modding etiquette, hints that I've sort of picked up over my years of modding. So this is, like I said, going to tell the game what the mod is, the name of the mod, where the mod is, and sort of files. You can specify some other stuff as well, but we can keep it as straightforward as possible for this, because it's going to be a fairly low-scope mod, so we don't want to overcomplicate it or anything like that. First thing you want to do is tell the launcher, tell the game what the mod is called. So we're going to call it just Bloodline. You can type that however you want. You can use special characters and anything. This is not relevant to the code at all. This is just how it show up in the launcher. So, you know, when you tick mods that you get off the Steam Workshop, this will be what that says. Then the path. This is actually the important bit. So path is where the mod is actually located. So we're going to put it in the same mod folder. So we're just going to type in mod, and we're going to call the actual folder that the mod is in Bloodline. So we're just going to do that, mod/bloodline, which means that we will have to make a folder that matches exactly that. I would recommend, if you're doing something complicated, just to save yourself a bit of time as well, and just to guarantee that you're avoiding a potential problem here, copy that. Copy that exactly how you've written it. It is case sensitive in Linux. In Windows, Windows doesn't give a fuck. Don't know about Mac. Who knows? Who cares about Mac? Here we go. And then that's it. That's actually genuinely all you need. You can do some of the fancy stuff, but that's all we need for now. Then we're going to make a folder, and I'm going to paste in that name that we've used. Again, you could just type it exactly. It's whatever is easiest for you. That way, by pasting it in, though, we're ensuring that that is exactly how we need it to be. Next step, we're going to open up this Bloodline folder, and we're going to set up our mod architecture. Now, for this, we're going to need 3 separate folders immediately. We're going to need a common folder. This is where we're going to write the information for the Bloodline. So this is going to tell the game what the Bloodline does. It's going to tell the game some other little information about it. Honestly, this is generally just what the Bloodline does, the actual mechanics behind the Bloodline. Then we're going to make a folder called Events, which is going to be the event that we're going to use to give our character this Bloodline. And then we're also going to add another folder called Localization. I believe it's spelled British English way rather than American English way. You might want to check the wiki. I will double check that very briefly, because I do not want to mislead the fine people of this mighty planet Earth. Let me just double check. Hang on. Right, so we want to go mod. Let's take a look. It is spelled Localization British English way, so this is right. We also want to add, actually I lied, we need a fourth folder as well, because just to make things a little bit easier, we're going to add a decision to fire the event to give ourselves the bloodline immediately. So we're going to call, we're going to make another folder called decisions as well. Now, if this is too difficult to follow, if for whatever reason I'm describing this very terribly, if my microphone blows up or you can't understand what I'm saying or whatever, if I'm going a little bit too fast for you, I'll make all these files available to download below as well. I'll put a media link just with this dummy thing. You can customize it how you want. Let's just do that instead, because that'll be a lot easier. But, you know, for those of you who actually want to learn, we'll obviously carry on with things, and I'll show you how it works here. So what we want to do is open up the common folder. And then in here, we're going to make a new folder. We're going to call that folder Bloodlines. Bloodlines, plural. Make sure you put the S on the end there for Bloodlines, because there may be more than one. In this scenario, we're only going to make one. But, you know, the game obviously has more than one as default. Then in there, we just want to make a new text document. You can call this whatever the hell you want. This genuinely does not matter. I'm going to call it example bloodline.txt. Again, you can call it whatever the hell you feel like. It really makes no difference. Then we're going to bring that over here. Thank you very much, because it's on the other monitor. And then we're going to make our bloodline. This is very, very, very straightforward. So, firstly, you call the bloodline something. This isn't what it shows up as in-game. This is just to basically give it a technical name. So, you can call it anything you want again, as long as you remember for the future. We're going to call it bloodline. My God, if I can spell it right. Bloodline _example. Now, you wouldn't put spaces in this. So you wouldn't put space in names or anything like that, just because that's common coding etiquette. After that, then you want to put a space to signify that you're done, obviously naming that. Put an equals, another space, and then an open curly bracket, curly brace, whatever the hell you want to call it. I had lecturers in university that called it all sorts of different things. A round bracket, that was my favorite. Not this type of round bracket. Hang on, this type of round bracket. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, put one of those things right there. Then, you can put another one of these. And that's it. That's literally your bloodline made. It is genuinely that simple. I'm not even kidding. That's it. That is now an official bloodline in the game. Obviously, we want to give it some features. We don't have to be a blank bloodline, right? That's a bit boring. So, you can do many, many things with this. I'll put a link to the wiki page, because obviously I can't go through everything here, because there is literally a mountain of things that we can add to this bloodline. What I will do, though, is I'll open up the base game folder here and show you some of the base game bloodlines. That's always a good way, by the way, if you're making mods. A good thing to work back from is finding the base game's file that you want to try and recreate. Say you're creating an event. Go open up the base game events, take a look at how the actual developers do it here. So I've just opened up some random Catholic bloodlines here. You can see the various things you can add to bloodlines. This one gives 0.3 monthly piety. This one gives 30% damage against religious enemies. This one gives a unique feature. Now, this is something I do want to talk about in a second. We won't worry about that. All you need to set up realistically is inheritance, a picture, and some flags, if you want to do other fancy things with the bloodline, which we won't in this scenario, but I will set them up anyway. So, inheritance is obviously the big thing. It is a bloodline after all. So, let's go ahead and say inheritance is, we'll do the standard one, which is obviously patrilineal. Check your spelling on everything as well. That could be another thing that ruins things, is just literally as simple as spelling something wrong. Missing letters in the wrong order, accidental capitals. That can sometimes screw it. Then, I'm going to say, we've got to add a picture too. Now, I'm not going to get into the complicated side of adding pictures. It's not actually that complicated, but obviously it'll overcomplicate this. For those of you who just want to make a bloodline, it's unnecessary. So we're going to actually lift a picture from the base game. So think of your favorite picture from a bloodline. And again, I'm just opening up the base game bloodlines here. So this is the so the actual picture will be stored. If I can see it. Am I going insane? It should say GFX, blah, 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 blah. There we are. So picture there. So it's the Samurai Check of Artemis stuff, a special one. Don't worry about that one. So for the Seoshant, this is the guy that reforms Zoroastrian, GFX bloodline _ Zoroastrian. This is what we're looking for. Just an image like that to go for. I'm going to pick a random one here. So GFX bloodline symbol bloodthirsty. That sounds fun. So I'm literally going to copy this entire line. Copy and paste straight into here. Now, you could type it out yourself manually if you really feel like it, but obviously you need to know what picture you want to use. We can open up another different bloodline here. So, say, for example, we could use the bloodline symbol Tengri Eagle. Any of these pictures is fine, whatever the hell you want. I'm just going to use the bloodthirsty one for the time being. You guys can sort of mess around and customize that as you want to, obviously. Then we want to obviously give it some features. Now, given that I've gone for a bloodthirsty picture, I'm going to make it a bit of a bloodthirsty bloodline. So I'm going to say, that was supposed to say martial, I promise. Mine's going to give 3 martial. We're also going to give some personal combat as well. So you do that by combat rating. And then, oh my god, my spelling. Good lord. Combat rating, I've still... that looks wrong, but I think it's right. We're going to give 10 personal combat as well. And then, what else could we throw in? We could give some religious damage, right? So we saw that in here. There was some, yeah, there we go. So we're going to copy this as well. Command modifier, religious enemy, 30% damage against religious enemies. That sounds fun. So we're going to stick that in as well. So my example bloodline here is kind of martial focused, huh? Martial +3, combat rating at 10, and then a damage against religious enemies. Inherited patrilineally. It's got a picture associated with it. And in theory, that's it. You've got a working bloodline right there. Now, I'm also going to do... This is something that you should really add. It will allow you to keep track of it. It's whatever you really want. You don't have to do this by any means. But all the bloodlines in the base game have this. Some flags. So, give it something that might allow you to track it down later, just in case you want to do something fancy with it. My flag is going to be, I don't know, example bloodline. This is just something unique to add to the game system so that you can find it in the future. I'm going to call it example bloodline, you call it test bloodline, something like that. Just something that you'll remember. This is, again, completely unnecessary, but just to make sure that you've got it in there, just so the game doesn't throw a hiss fit or anything like that. That is it. That is an entirely working bloodline. We can load into the game right now, do some console commands, add this to our character, and it will work completely fine. Genuinely as simple as that. We're going to take it one step further. Obviously, we want to customize it. We want to make sure it looks nice in-game as well. And, of course, we're going to add the event to actually give it to our character. So, let's close all these off. These are obviously the example in-game ones. Oh, the other thing I want to talk about as well is Bloodlines also have, and it's quite difficult to track down, so you'll have to look through the base game files. You can also get some unique effects. So, say, for example, in the base game, I don't know, you get the Macabre Banquet effect. There is a special line of code, or script, I should say, which will give your bloodline that as well if you want it. So, for example, bloodline effect Pet Eagle. So, if we copy that one over, this will also give this bloodline that unique effect that we can get ourselves a Pet Eagle. That's just a fun little thing. You'll have to look through various bloodlines, right? So you can see all the various battle effects here. And it will say here, Paradox are quite good for their documentation. This in the Legendary Warriors bloodline.txt in your Steam Apps Common CK2 Bloodlines directory, and it'll just say what it does there. So this one makes it more resistant to battle injury, greater chance of capturing loot for, or you know, whatever. You can add whatever you want here. This is just a little bit of customization. You'll have to track down yourself. I can't go through possibly every single example because there is a load of stuff you can add to Bloodlines. Like, it's really complex. That's it, though. That is my very simple basic bloodline. So we're actually going to leave that open, and we're going to back up a folder here. We're going to go into the base bloodline folder. We're going to open up this folder here, localization. Now, this is a little more complex. I'm trying to describe it. I'm trying to think of a good way to describe it here. This shows the player what you want the player to see. So if we load it into game right now with this as it is currently, that would show the player bloodline _ example, which is a little bit immersion breaking, you've got to admit. It also wouldn't have a description or anything like that. The localization will display to the player what you want the player to see. So it's actually fairly simple to do this. So let's create a new document as well. New text document, but like the .mod file, we are going to change it. We are going to call this, we could call it anything. Like, again, absolutely anything's fine. This does not matter. As long as you use the file extension CSV. CSV being the localization file type. Then we're going to open that one up, and it's going to bring it over here. Now, this is a very specific file format. Now, this looks way more confusing than it actually is. Don't worry about this. This is an example of base game's localization. It's very simple. It looks way more complicated than it is. Let me just get myself set up here, and I will explain it as best as I possibly can. So, on the left-hand side is the code that we have written for the game. So we need to localize bloodline example, because again, we don't want to show bloodline example to the player. So you would paste that, or you put that on this side, right? Bloodline, sorry, I'll do this from scratch, otherwise it's going to get confusing. So copy your bloodline example into here, right? Then hit a colon, and then type in what you want the player to actually see. So I'm going to call this bloodthirsty, blood30, just so we know it's ours, bloodline. There we go, blood30 bloodline. And then you need to close this out, so you need to say that that line is done. That is what we want to show the player for that. Now, this is where the copy and pasting from the actual base game comes in handy, because you have to put a very specific amount, right? You have to put, like, this many colons and an X, just to say that that is the end. That is all we want to show the player in this example. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and an X to say that's it. The only reason there are so many different things is because you can type it in for each language. First one being English, second being French, third being Spanish, fourth being German, etc., in that order, roughly. So say, for example, you want to do a French one, it would be les bloodthirsty, blah, 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 blah. You sort of get what I'm saying, but we don't want to do that. I'm not going to bother because I only speak English, at least to a decent degree, so we're going to keep that one there. Now, the other thing you need to do as well is your description of your bloodline, a little text box that says why this bloodline exists, what it's about. Very simple to do that. You literally take that, whatever you've called the bloodline, and you throw DESC, short for description. Same thing again. Put a colon. This is what we want to show the player. Blood 30 bloodline. So called for the 30 men that died to forge it. Very epic, very cool, very nice. And again, that's all we want to show the player. So we're going to copy this one and we're going to paste it in. And then we're just going to save it. Simple. That is now completely done. That is our Blood 30 bloodline. Bloodline example. In fact, why don't we give a combat rating of 30? That makes more sense. 30% morale damage, 30 combat rating, and you know what? Fucking 30 martial as well. There you go. You can go completely balls to the wall with your bloodlines if you really feel like it. Honestly, that's it. You've got yourself a legitimate, fully readable, completely working bloodline in game. The only issue is, how do you put that onto your character? Now, that might be in-game, sure, you need to use some console commands or something fancy to actually get that to work, so we're going to add a little decision as well, just to quickly add that to your character, a sort of one-off thing. So, this is a little bit more complicated and require a little bit of event modding, which is something we've never really touched on the channel before, because it is so complex. It's the most complex part of CK2 modding. I'm going to try and keep it as simple as possible. In fact, I'm going to try and do it only with a decision, so that we don't have to worry about the event side of things. So, from our base mod folder then, let's go into the decisions, and let's go ahead and create a new text document, and we're just going to call it whatever the hell you want. So I'm just going to call it, be careful that you don't accidentally name it something the same as the base game. It's obviously kind of rare that that would happen, but give it a nice unique name, something that wouldn't be generic, like Bloodline Decisions might be in the base game. Some other mods might do that as well and end up replacing one another. So let's call it something unique. Let's call it like BL_deck_add. Bloodline decision add. Something very simple like that. Again, call it whatever you want. Just make sure you can call it big, smelly, giant poo-poo head or anything. You know what? I'm not going to judge you for being completely childish. What a ridiculous thing to say. Decisions are very, very easy to add to the game. It's simply a case of, and I'm not even shitting you here. You type in decisions, weirdly enough, equals, and then that sort of standard bracket thing, and then you give your decision a name. So we're going to say add to bloodline, and then this is going to be the actual decision. So we're going to add in here AI equals no, so that the AI can't just add themselves to this. Honestly, that's really all you need to add. Now, one thing you can add as well, you know there are like high priority decisions in CK2, so the ones that show up in yellow at the top of the bar. We'll do that as well, just to set it apart. So to do that, it simply is high prio, obviously short for priority there, equals yes. Very straightforward. Potential is the next thing, so this is the potential for it to even show up to the player. So obviously you want to hide decisions when you've done them once, right? So we're going to do exactly that. We're going to say not has global flag taken bloodline deck. Call this whatever you want. I'll explain what this does. This is going to hide the decision, so if you don't have the global flag taken bloodline decision, you have the potential to see this decision. Does that make sense? If you have this bloodline, then the potential becomes not true. So it will hide the decision. That way, if you've already got the bloodline active, you don't need to see the decision anymore, so we'll hide it so it's not cluttering up your game interface. It's a little unnecessary, I will admit, but it's kind of a nice little thing to keep things tidy. Then the next thing, what allows you to press that decision? So the difference between potential is and allow is, what shows this to the player is potential. So, for example, if you don't want, say, an Indian ruler being able to see Catholic decisions. You know, you don't want them to see mend the schism. So potential religion equals Christian group, for example, would stop that Indian ruler seeing mend the schism. Potential determines what decisions that character can see. Allow is whether or not they can actually click the button. So say, for example, a decision costs 25 gold. You don't want them to press the button if they can't afford it. So this we don't need to worry about, because it's just a decision to give our character a bloodline, and then it's going to disappear. You could say, oh, you can only take that bloodline when you've got 25 gold, at which point you'd be like, root wealth equals 25 or some garbage like that. Or I think it's just do wealth 25 as its decision. Don't worry about that. Not relevant. That will just leave us blank for now, because we want to always be able to press that button, and when we pressed it, it'll disappear anyway, because we put this flag in potential. Now you need to say the effect of what will happen when you press the button. So funnily enough, you type in effect. I do like closing my brackets like that. I was trying not to do it in case it got too confusing. First you want to do is set that global flag to make it disappear. So set global flag, taken bloodline underscore deck. Oh, right, deck for decision, right. And then we want to actually add the bloodline. Now, I'm not sure, I'm going to be honest, if the next thing I'm going to do will work. So we're going to try it. We're going to go into game and see if it works. And if it doesn't, we'll make an event instead. Makes it a little bit more complicated, but it should be fine. So what we want to do then is, it's very, very simple as well. In theory, if it works, that is. So we're going to do create underscore bloodline equals... And then the type, so that was the bloodline that we made earlier. So I'm actually going to go back to our thing here and open it up just to double check everything. So let's open that one up. So the type is bloodline underscore example. So type bloodline underscore example. Then you can specify a specific inheritance type. I'm just going to make sure that the game knows it's patrilineal. I'm even going to copy and paste that in case I misspell it because I'm that. I've learned from my mistakes, let's put it that way. That, I believe, is literally it. Make sure you close the brackets. Very good way to test whether or not you've closed brackets in CK2. Oh, God, this is some vile spacing going on. Hang on, let me fix this complete mess I've made here. Right, there we go. Best way to test if you've if your event is going to work if you close brackets. In Notepad++, it'll highlight the brackets. Now, I have had some people in the past talk to me about this who have been colorblind, so I haven't actually been able to see if those brackets are closed. It will make it slightly bolder. If you have that problem, talk to me in Discord. I'll make a little Notepad++ pack for you to make those brackets a different color, something that's a bit more red-green colorblind friendly especially. So the next thing to do then is just make sure that's all closed off. So again, we can see that decisions is closed because it correlates to this bracket, add to bloodline is closed because it correlates to that bracket, and these all close off because they all correlate to a bracket. As long as this one's closed, generally you're good. Save that, and in theory, now we've added that to the game. Now, just like with the decision, we don't want the player to see add to bloodline. You might not mind if you're just doing it one-off to add to your character for roleplay purposes. I'm going to make sure we've tied it up, and again, just to teach you guys a bit more about localization here. So we're going to take this thing here. Oh, sorry, not that one. We're going to take the decision, add to bloodline. We're going to throw that in there, and we are going to say add to bloodline instead. So this is what we want the player to see. Otherwise, they see add underscore to underscore bloodline. We want them to see it as it is written there. And then same thing with the other one, adds to bloodline underscore desk, and then the colon, and then it's going to say, add this character to a mighty bloodline. There we go. And then save it. And then we're ready to test it. So why don't we load up CK2 and actually see if this damn thing works. Oh, I've closed Steam now, damn it. So I was running out of video. Generally, I like to save on RAM, which is exactly why I was running OBS. Not the RAM really matters too much with running video, but so my processor doesn't melt a hole in my desk. Right, let's load up CK2 and see if this works. So I'm going to have to quickly flip over my OBS window. Oh my God, has the game had an update? You're kidding me. Oh, Steam had an update, you coward. Okay, bear with it for Steam to update. Look at this shit, honestly. Right, here we go. So we're on my, apparently we're on the Series B recording setup. Sorry, I flipped over to my CK2 preset on OBS. So, we want to obviously tick the Bloodline mod, so we can actually see that the mod file has worked. That's half the battle, to be honest with you. So let's tick that. Let's go into game. We've only got that mod enabled, so it's base game CK2, so I apologize for your eyes in advance when these horrible borders pop up. Then we'll just play as any old character. Now, in theory, because we didn't set the allow to be restricted, any character we load into will be able to do this, but they'll only be able to do it once. So when we press that button, it'll set a global flag. That basically adds a flag to the save game itself, saying, hey, this button's been clicked. From now on, nobody can ever click it. You can attach character flags, which obviously only persists per character. When that character dies, that option becomes available again. Right, so let's go ahead and just load in as absolutely fucking anyone. Don't care. Charlemagne will do. There you go. Oops, I'm Carlemagne instead now. Never mind. And then in theory, hopefully this has worked fine, otherwise I'm going to look like an absolute fool. Here we go. Our decision is there. Add to bloodline. Add this character to my bloodline. If I press that, there we go. Becomes known as the founder of a bloodline, given the following effects. Damage against religious enemies 30%, martial plus 30, personal combat skill plus 30, and characters tend to keep hunting birds because of our eagle effect. And there it is, Blood 30 Bloodline. Blood 30 Bloodline, so called for the 30 men that died to forge it. There's the bloodthirsty image right there. We've got our patrilineal inheritance. Bastards can't inherit, which you can set up, by the way. So, it's a very simple little change that I guess I can show you very quickly. Characters tend to keep hunting birds. Personal combat skill plus 30. I can't believe that worked first time. Pat myself on the back. That was normally, it's genuinely something as easy as missing a bracket or putting in a capital letter. It's as simple as that. And that decision, as you can see, is now completely gone. So, like I said, I'll make this available in the description on a media file link so that you guys can see the so that you guys, if you want to, can download this, customize it, build your own from scratch, mess around with it, really. And more importantly, if you break it that way, you can just download it again and keep messing around with it over and over until you get what you want. Now, I'll quickly show you how to make Bastard Inherit, because I imagine some people are interested in that too. So let me just quickly open up my... what do we want to open up? Let's go to the Crusader Kings. You know what? I'll show you the Crusader Kings common folder as well. So what we've got here is our Steam library. Yours might not be called that. Steam apps common Crusader Kings 2. Let's go into the common folder. Let's go into the Bloodlines folder. And let's open up one of these as well. So you see this one. There we go. Allow bastards equals yes. Carolingian bloodline, obviously. So Pep in the Hunchback or whatever can inherit that. We're just going to copy that one over. So now my bastards can also, we want to add that to the actual bloodline itself. So if we go back into our mod, go into the bloodline folder. Oh god, all the stuff is downloaded off the Steam Workshop. Don't worry about that. Common bloodlines, example bloodline, and let's just stick it. You can stick it in anywhere. Like literally, it doesn't matter if you put it there. It doesn't matter if we put it in there. We could put it in there. We could put it in 3 times. The game won't matter. It's very, very flexible with what you can do. But if we add that very quickly, that means that bastards can now inherit the mighty 30 bloodline. And that's it. It's literally that simple. So I hope you guys, hopefully this has helped out some guys. We actually don't need, remember when I said we needed that event folder? Don't even need it, because it turns out we could have done it much, much easier with a decision, which is what we did. That was just a backup plan in case it didn't work as planned. Literally that easy. Hope you guys enjoy this. I hope it helps out a lot as well. If you've got any questions, of course, take them over to Discord. I will help you. My lovely friend Foul D Tiny will also help out as well, because he is a good person what makes some mods sometimes. So hopefully between us we can definitely get it down for you, and good luck with it. Good luck. Have a good mess around with it and see what you can work out. See if you can find some fun stuff that even I don't know.